But, you know, these are all the things that I've done over the years. So I've been a programmer. I've done pre-sales work. Pre-sales work is quite nice because you go out with a salesperson and you show the software and they do all the hard bit about negotiating on price and stuff. So that's quite nice, except for when you get into a position where the salesperson is telling the prospective customer that this piece of software will do something and you know full well it won't. That's interesting. But then I got to install the software, I do the training on it. I've run internal IT departments. I've done a lot of project management of putting systems in, and I did a lot of purchasing. The one thing I didn't do in all those 15 years was sell. That was the one aspect that I hadn't covered in IT. So I sat, when I got my business, in my desk, at my desk, in my little office, at home, with the yellow pages, on the 1st of April 2000, thinking, what do I do now? Because I've actually got to pick the phone up and I've got to try and find some customers. And that I found really, really hard in the early years. But I set my own business up for those reasons. Having had a child, I didn't want to have to work for somebody else, for them to tell me that I couldn't have time off if my child was ill, for them to tell me I couldn't have the holiday that I wanted, for them to tell me I couldn't go to sports day if that was what I wanted to do. I didn't want that because IT back then, it was quite hard. So if you work for a company, and the last company I worked for was a consultancy, you were virtually 24/7. So I ran the support function for an internal IT team. We had 700 consultants who were spread up and down the country. We had 44 servers. And we had SAP, we had Barn, we had Siebel, we had all the big systems on all of our servers, and we had to make sure that those servers were operational every day of every week of every year. So if something went wrong, and we got people in Australia, America, Singapore, Malaysia, if anything went wrong, it was me they rang. So I remember when I started there, we had offices in Staines. So I used to stop again during the week and then come back on a Friday. But we had some torrential rain when I was down there one day, and our offices were quite old, and the rain came through the ceiling into the computer room, which at the time had got 24 servers in it, and it was just an absolute mess. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm 4 months pregnant, and I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go in there, to get the server, to put it in my car, to take it across to the new offices that we were getting ready in Reading, because we had to get the internal servers up and running. So it was lucky I was there, because I was able to do that. Had I been back here in Tamworth, it would have taken me 2 hours to get down there in the first place, to then get the thing moved and across and back up and running within 24 hours, because that's what it needed. So you do what's necessary, but that doesn't make it that easy. And I thought, you know, I don't want that pressure when I've got children, because it's not fair on them. I didn't have them to just offload them elsewhere. So I set my business up to give me that flexibility. And I set it up so that I didn't have to work full time to start with either.